What is up, guys? We're back for another episode,
Yeah, how's it going, ladies and gentlemen? This is the guy.
and this is the other guy.
So yeah, today we're gonna get into some fun topics right here. You got the list right here. What
Yeah.
does it say?
So since it's it's college football season and NFL season, we're just going to talk about the NFL and that's college. And I think we're going to start off with college since college was on Saturday. There was a lot of crazy games. Notre Dame, Ohio State game. Notre Dame ended up winning, which I had first. This is my first wrong prediction of the year because I predicted Florida State to beat LSU. I also predicted Texas to beat Alabama. But I thought Notre Dame was going to win, but Ohio State won in crazy fashion.
Yeah, like I expected, especially I knew Iowa was gonna get killed by Penn State, but I figured like especially like some of the other teams in especially the Pac-12 would like do a bit better, but I guess we'll see, in the coming weeks, like if some of these other college football teams can bounce back. But for now, especially, I think we just, some of the college teams just need to like kind of just slightly pick up the pace in order to really get a chance to be in the playoffs. But we'll
For
see.
sure, it's early, so it's hard to tell. Like in my opinion, college football, at least from when I started watching it 10 years ago, it's more open than it's ever been. There's not a clear cut number one team, and I think another reason why some of the Pac-12 teams had poor performances is just how ridiculously talented the conference is right now, and it's going to end next year, which is so sad because they're the best conference in college football right now.
True, but Georgia's like kind of the number one team right now. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, for teams, I don't know. I mean, from what I've seen from Georgia, they've had some weird shaky games. Like they beat Alabama Birmingham by like only 20.
They did.
Which was like,
Only 20. That's
I mean,
true.
like,
Yeah.
number one team, you'd expect more. I mean, Georgia's definitely good.
That's the thing. Everyone expects that they're like the
Yeah.
Chiefs right now. Like everyone expects them to be number one, but I
Yeah.
don't think they're total. Like it, if everyone thinks they're so good, they should be proving that they're way better than everyone.
Yeah, like you have the high expectations. And like Georgia, like, yeah, they're very good. I'm talking about in terms of an overall conference because for the Pac 12 right now, you have Oregon and Washington are insane offenses. You got USC with Caleb Williams. You got Utah and UCLA, who are both ranked teams. You got Oregon State and Washington State that are both ranked teams. So they have like 7 or 8 ranked teams, which is unheard of.
Yeah, it's literally the stack 12. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, like, do you think actually like that that USC is going to be a ranked team in the future? Could be
USC,
possible.
like this year, or like in the
This year, even though they don't have a good defense.
USC is ranked right now.
Wait, did they just get ranked? Oh, right when they beat Arizona State. They had that game like 2 days, or no, it was yesterday actually. I was watching it. I think they weren't ranked before,
No,
but
they were USC.
yeah, they weren't ranked very high though.
I'm pretty sure they were ranked in the top 10.
I thought it was like top 20, top 15 or something like
Well, either way, I'm like very certain that they were ranked because they do have Caleb Williams and they were like a top 10 team last year. Like they are a good team. Their defense is just really bad, so I don't see them as like the top dog in the Pac-12. Colorado was ranked, but not anymore after the Oregon game.
that. Yeah,
42-6.
dude, they got destroyed, bro.
Yeah.
Dion wasn't coming that time. He, oh my gosh, that was rough. That was rough.
I heard that the Oregon, the Colorado players like were like dancing all over the Oregon football field
Was
before
this?
the game.
But
Like they were like disrespecting the Oregon Duck football field. They were just like dancing around and like taunting and stuff.
what did they think was gonna happen?
Also, like Oregon, you were right. I guess I expected Oregon to be like top 15, but I did not think they were going to be this good this year. Like they're really good this year.
Dude, Oregon, like,
Yeah.
once in a while will just, like, jump out and be like, holy shit. You're like,
That's
damn,
true.
this is a good team.
I want to see them play Washington this year. Hopefully, they do play them.
You know, it's crazy, actually, yeah, I hope. And it also made me think of another point that I brought up to you earlier is, like, I think that, like, a lot of these basketball schools are becoming really good football schools now. Like, you see even,
That's
like,
true.
Kansas State was a really good basketball school, and now they're ranked, or they were ranked football until Mizzou beat them. But Kansas, yeah, Oregon, like all these different schools, like that were once really good basketball schools, and even now to a degree, they're still good basketball schools, but a lot of them are more becoming football oriented.
Like Florida State, they're pretty good at sports in general. They've had some good basketball teams in the past too.
Yeah, they've never really had like a great team as far as I'm concerned, at least from what I've seen, like in
That's
a
true.
long time. Yeah,
Yeah, they've never had a great team, but they've always been like in Sweet 16. Like,
yeah, they've had good teams.
they've had some
Not
good,
like yeah.
pretty good program the last couple years. Same thing with like Oklahoma. Like Oklahoma's had some good basketball teams, and Oklahoma they had a bad year last year, but they're the second best team in the Big 12, which is not saying much because the Big 12 is weak besides Texas.
Well, do you think they're going to be a good team in the Big 12 this year?
Who? Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Yeah, just because the conference isn't very good. Like other than Texas and Oklahoma, they do have Kansas State, but they lost to Missouri,
Yeah.
so they're like kind of good. But like the Big 12 is just like from top to bottom, they're just not very good.
What teams are leaving from the Big 12?
I know Texas is.
Yep, Texas.
Oklahoma might be.
I thought they
know.
were. I heard Oklahoma was going to go to the SEC next year.
I think Texas and Oklahoma. They want the good teams to go to the SEC. That's how it works. Like
The good teams are
Yeah.
going. They know they can make a shit ton of money, and it's going to happen.
college football next year is just going to be like the Big Ten and the SEC are going to have like all the good teams, and there's going to be a 12-team playoff.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
exactly. It's not. Yeah, I mean, in some ways it might be competitive, but you're only really going to see like a lot of people in those, like really like those games that get televised or the SEC network, the
Yeah.
Big Ten, like all the really good networks.
So with the ACC, would they be go? I feel like half of them would go to the Big Ten, and the other half would go to like the SEC because the ACC is like up and down the coast.
Possibly, but I
Yeah.
feel like you just got like North Carolina and Florida State, and not a lot of other teams in there.
I guess like the Boston colleges it would like stay in the ACC or something.
Yeah, Wake Forest is
Pittsburgh.
not bad, but
Syracuse is actually kind of having a good football season. They're kind of slept on, in my opinion. Garrett Schrader at quarterback.
literally, I haven't watched Syracuse. Are
They were like surprisingly good. Like they played really good against Purdue. Like they're one of the better unranked teams in my opinion.
Has everybody beat Purdue?
I don't know, man. Maybe Purdue's just terrible, so they make all these teams look good.
Well, like, or they just expect. I feel like people expect Purdue to be good, but they're just not there.
Purdue was good last year.
Yeah,
That's probably why. Because they made it to the Big Ten championship last year, and then they lost. They actually played Michigan kind of good last year. They lost. They did lose by like 20 points, but considering the fact it was how
they didn't make it easy for them.
considering how good Michigan was last year, you would think that they would lose by way more.
Well, literally,
Yeah.
well, that's for Michigan and a lot of other games, but some
Yeah.
games Michigan played like it was too close last year. But
Illinois, yeah.
this year it's going to be a lot better. Like they're gonna be a way better team.
Yeah, the problem with Michigan, in my opinion, is that their schedules is so weak. So I feel like as soon as they play a good team, it's going to be like a shock for them.
Well, that's same with Mizzou right now. Like they got a really easy schedule right
They
now.
do?
But yeah,
They played Kansas State though.
that was what they played. Well, Kansas State and up until LSU, I was telling you about. That's up
Okay.
until LSU, we got a bunch of really easy teams. Like it was
Even though in
two-
the SEC,
Huh?
even though you're in the SEC,
Yeah, well, literally, especially our first couple games, we played Middle Tennessee. We played
Yeah.
some real like North Dakota or South Dakota, I think it was.
first 3 games you gotta warm up and play some scrubs. That's how it goes.
Dude, that's what most of the top teams were
Yeah.
doing. They're
Yeah.
destroy. Yeah, no, you're good. They're
Yeah.
just destroying these like nobodies like that. All the states and the Techs and the whatever the heck.
Yeah. University of Central Arkansas or something.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. Yeah, like Southern, like I don't know, Mississippi or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. There's one YouTuber I watch. He's always like saying like, yeah, Alabama in their first game they always play like the University of Chattanooga Aquarium Community College or something like that.
Wait, isn't there a University of Chattanooga and a University of Chattanooga?
In Tennessee.
And yeah.
I know there's a University of Tennessee Chattanooga which Terrell Owens went to.
Oh
But
yeah.
I don't know if there's 2 of them. I just know there's
Wait,
a
Terrell
Chattanooga.
Owens went there?
Terrell Owens did go to Chattanooga.
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did. Yeah. He's one of the only people like famous that really went there.
A lot of really good NFL players have kind of came out of nowhere schools. Like Cooper Kupp went to like Eastern Washington or something.
Yeah, but Cooper Cup's like kind of, in to a degree, fallen off a bit, especially after he got injured this year. He could
I
come
know
back.
that.
He could make a comeback. Literally.
That's true. He has had a very good career as of the last couple of years, though, for sure.
Well, it's only been after the Super Bowl. I feel like he's kind of had a little bit of a nosedive.
Yeah, like the 2017. I don't know when he came into the league, but like a couple of years, he had a lot of good seasons.
Do you know when he was drafted? I don't remember.
I don't. But I first heard about him until like 2018, and he was like really good back then.
Yeah,
So for like a couple of years, he had some good seasons for sure.
he was. He was really good. Yeah, and that's where you. Do you know what pick he was though?
I don't know. I think he was like he was like a late rounder though.
Oh yeah.
He was like I don't know what round he was, but he was never like. It's interesting in like high school, college, NFL. Like we're going to talk about the NFL as well. This is just a good
Yeah.
football topic podcast for sure because of the September baby.
Yeah.
Well, like yeah, no, it's interesting because like there's Heisman Trophy winners. They go to the NFL and then all of a sudden like they're just the talent doesn't translate. And there's also players who like go to like Eastern, like a not community college, like Jackson State or like they go to like Eastern Washington or Central Michigan or like. Just like some school that's not like a not a Power 5 school that's not really on the radar. And they come to the NFL and like they light it up. So it's very interesting.
Well, nowadays
Yeah.
with the NIL laws, it's probably going to change though, because like, especially all these top schools are going to get all these big recruits, and then you're just going to see nobody watch like Jackson State. I mean, you see why Dion left. Like, they want.
Yeah, it's all about the money now.
Well, yeah, not just about the money, but like also about just how, trying to get just the best talent, like to
Yeah.
get as many people invested as possible. I mean, obviously for the money, but also
That's
just
true.
to keep people coming back.
That's true. There's always talent that slips through the crack, though. I think that's always been the case in like every single era, like in football and basketball. There's always been those players that like they were good, but they never really like took off. Like they were kind of under the radar. They kind of like crept into like notoriety. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that like you
Yeah,
mentioned, you're
yeah.
talking about like 4-star recruits and stuff. Like I feel like you even say like
3-star.
2 or 3. Yeah, the 2
Yeah.
or 3s that like make it huge. Yeah.
Like Steph Curry, like he was never like a 5-star recruit.
Was he a 4-star or a 3-star?
He was not that highly recruited.
I think he was. At least I heard he.
He
was
probably was like a 2
4-star.
or 3-star. But he ended up going to
Yeah.
Davidson. Like he wasn't like
Yeah.
Duke. Like all the big colleges in North Carolina said no to him.
Yeah.
So like he wasn't like
Wasn't he shorter until he got to college?
I don't
Like
know.
he had a growth.
Maybe
I
a
can't
little
remember which year, but he hit a growth spurt at some point. Like he was very undersized for a while.
Yeah, I think that was part of it, and also just like the way he played was just like not up to par with like the standards of that time.
Well, he was just
Yeah.
shooting threes. Everybody
Yeah.
wanted to drive into the paint.
He was ahead of the time. His time.
He literally created this new. You
Yeah.
know, yeah. Exactly. He changed the game, and it's the Warriors did in general, and that kind of
Yeah.
I didn't like it, but that's just how I felt about it.
Yeah, there's like pros and cons to it. I think it makes the game like there's more scoring, which is kind of nice, but there's also less defense. So there's like, yeah, if there's more defense, then that's good. But like in terms of the NFL, like I mean, think of like Tom Brady, like he wasn't looked at as like someone who was going to be good. Or like who's a Tyreek
But he
Hill
did
went
go to
to
Michigan though.
he went to Michigan, but he was also a late pick. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like it's kind of like a little bit of both. I know Tyreek Hill went to a small school.
Where did Tyreek Hill go? Oh, wait,
I don't
Central.
know.
I think
Very
it was
small
Central
school.
Arkansas or something like that. Yeah, like a super.
Yeah, I don't even know what the school was, but
Anyway, I'm thinking Scottie Pippen, but like yeah, a very small school.
Josh Allen went to Wyoming.
That was, but Josh Allen again, like he didn't really like kind of reach his full peak. Like he didn't
Yeah.
have his height, he didn't have like his throwing ability, all that until later. I mean, same with like Patty Mahomes probably, and like
Patrick Mahomes started playing football late too.
he did. When do you know when he played?
Junior
football?
year of high school.
Oh, that is late. Yeah.
Yeah, so he was like a kind of like prodigy in a way.
Yeah. Or like like the natural, because oh yeah, he mainly I was watching quarterbacks actually. Yeah, they said he mainly played baseball first because his dad was a baseball player.
Yeah, he played basketball too.
He played a little bit of basketball, yeah, and then now he's doing this.
Why is Taylor Swift in this game, bro?
Why is she? Who is she with? Who is that?
We're watching the Bears Chiefs game right now, and Taylor Swift is at the stands. So for all you Taylor Swift fans out there,
All the Swifties.
all the Swifties who are big
This one's
football
for you.
fans.
This one's for you. Yeah, it's literally I didn't even notice her. Like they were just like passing it by like on the camera. I didn't even notice her. So, but then you mentioned him. Like, oh shit, that's Taylor Swift. Yeah.
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 But like, yeah, going back to like college football, that is a good point because like I'm almost forgetting some of the players, but it's interesting because like there would be a player you'll watch in like the NFL or the NBA, and they're so good, and you're like, where the hell did that guy go to college?
Facts.
And there'll be like a Heisman Trophy winner who was like super good a couple years ago, or like a really good player in college, and you'll be like, what happened to him?
Well, that's like you were saying, like
Yeah.
like literally, like players just slip through the cracks every once in a while.
Yeah. It's like it's human nature. I think sometimes people just like don't see what's in front of them. Sometimes, or like there's like always preconceived notions or like stereotypes. Oh, this person's from this place, or this person like is at this school, or this person's to this or that or whatever. So there's always going to be the outliers who break the matrix.
Yeah, like the players that went to a smaller school, people would be like, "You're not as good because you went to the competition that you faced was not as good."
Yeah.
Like all this stuff, and that's happened with some players. Like, and I think honestly, that's kind of how I view Patty Mahomes a little bit. Like, I think he didn't have the best competition. So now, I mean, in the NFL, I think he's it's not easy. His conference isn't easy, but he hasn't really had to struggle a lot to to win championships and.
Yeah, he was like he went to Texas Tech. I didn't really know about him.
I don't think a lot of people knew about it, even though he was the 10th pick.
He was
I
a
don't think
10th
a lot
pick,
of people knew about it. He just kind of slept on a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. He just had like a lot of like arm talent, and like he was like a very
Yeah.
Kind of like how Zach Wilson, like not a lot of people knew him, and he was like the second pick.
Well, that's the
That
thing.
kind of happens sometimes.
Yeah, but I mean, Zach Wilson, he's still got time.
But it's like as an example.
Yeah,
Yeah, as of right now, he hasn't been the greatest, but it's still early.
yeah, he's still got a little time. Well, when was he drafted? Was it
He
actually
was
like
second pick. Oh, 2021.
2021?
Still early in
He's
his
got
career.
plenty of time.
Yeah, he's like 23.
Well, also, he's going to get a ton of experience this season. He's going to get a ton of opportunities. You get a ton of chances because the Jets are pretty much given up at this point. Like, I mean, they still probably think they could possibly get in the playoffs, but, we'll see.
So is that the Jets? They have Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson. Who are
Do
like
they have Sauce
a
Gardner?
receiver and cornerback. Sauce Gardner went to Bama, right?
I think so. I
And
can't
then
remember.
Garrett
which.
Wilson went to Ohio State.
You're right. Yeah. And, Garrett Wilson went to Ohio State. Sauce Gardner went to Alabama. Yeah.
So that was definitely good to like push themselves like a receiver, cornerback in like training camps and stuff.
They have good players. Like, they really
For sure.
have. They have good
Now
talent.
they have Dalvin Cook.
Exactly. And it's the same thing with the Jets. Like, they have, or sorry, not the Jets, the Browns. Like, they picked up so much talent the past couple off seasons. Like, they just need to start going now.
Who you said the who?
The Browns.
Oh, the Browns. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick Chubb got hurt though, right?
He
That's
did.
bad.
Do you know how long he's out? I actually saw
No,
it.
I just heard that he was injured and like that's kind of a big blow to him.
It was a big blow to the team, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's literally one of the best running backs, at least in the.
But like yeah,
Wait, which conference do they play in? I actually forgot.
for the Browns.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. I'm not really an NFL guy. I'm more college. So I know that he went to Georgia with Sony Michel, and Sony Michel actually retired. And there's kind of funny is that Stetson Bennett, he literally went to like they were like in the first class there together at Georgia. And once Stetson Bennett got drafted, like Sony Michel retired. So that's how long he was at Georgia. He was like 25 or 26, like and he was winning chips in college.
Literally. Well, he was like, hey, like, I can stay here as long as I want, just winning rings left and right. Like, hey,
Yeah.
how do you do?
And I think he'll be a good backup in the league. I don't think he's that bad. Like
What team did he get drafted to again?
I think of the Rams.
Rams?
I could see him as a backup.
He is the backup right now, right?
Is it Stafford?
Is he playing right now? Is Stafford not injured anymore? I know he obviously had plenty of time to recover, but
I don't know. I mean, then again, I'm not really. Probably shouldn't speak on it because I'm not really.
yeah.
I don't pay attention enough. Like if we're talking about college, I could talk all day. But like, for NFL, like there's some stuff I don't know about.
Just for people in the audience,
Yeah.
he knows a lot more about college football. I know a bit more about the NFL.
Yeah,
'cause
so
I-
like it complements each other.
Yeah. Well, I've gotten back a lot more into college football this year, but the NFL, I think I was a little more into last year.
That's
but-
fair. Yeah.
So I've had a little more time to kind of get used to it and everything. But especially because of fantasy, it really makes you get into the
I could see that. It's probably because I don't have a fantasy team. I just don't care.
Exactly. Well,
Yeah.
that's the thing. There's so many, I mean, I know the Bears, obviously, since, Chicago, but,
Because you want to make sure your team's doing good.
exactly. Well, literally, also, your individual players, and also because these games are just on constantly,
Yeah.
your one team will play and it'll have your player, and then another team will play and
Yeah.
it'll have your player. Or even, and that's the the tough part, is, when both of the teams that play impact your fantasy. The players that,
Oh yeah,
let's
like they're
say-
playing each other. Like the one of them has like a receiver you have, the other one has like a running back you have, or something like that. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And that could impact the way you feel about a game. It's
Who's
like
like
who
the-
you root for,
Who's like the most popular number one pick? Is like Christian McCaffrey, Mahomes. Like who
That's playing right now?
who usually who's usually the top fantasy guy that people pick?
Oh,
Like Mahomes,
I've seen
McCaffrey.
Mahomes actually get picked in the late or in the second or third round,
Why?
a bit later. Well, because it's usually running backs or receivers that get picked.
Is
first.
McCaffrey usually like the first one?
Yeah, or I don't know when I got McCaffrey because I actually have McCaffrey, but
Who's another running back that's really good right now? Austin Eckler, maybe?
Austin Eckler's not bad, but he gets picked a little bit later.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is Saquon healthy right now?
he's not kind of the Giants just aren't doing very good right now.
Yeah, the Giants had a really good year last year, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. Daniel Jones had his season, but he could probably just be a one-season wonder or something. Who knows?
Yeah, Daniel Jones, he went to Duke. He's like all right. He's
Did he
not.
go to Duke? Was this before they got good or after they got good? Dang.
I don't know. He got drafted in 2019. I don't think they were that good. I don't know why he was the sixth pick. No one knew who he was.
On some mischief.
He slept through the cracks. Daniel Jones.
He did.
Trey Lance too went to Dakota State.
We don't know about how Trey Lance.
That's
is gonna
true.
Do,
Well,
though.
Brock Purdy, like he went to Iowa State, but he was the last pick.
Yeah, he was Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
Then he became.
So
yeah.
even if you go to like a big school, you can still slip through the cracks, like Tom Brady.
Yeah, I think Brock Purdy wants revenge though when he plays the Eagles. Since that time
sure.
that they blew out his arm, like I'm sure he's pissed. He's like, "Fuck this team."
I like Jalen Hurts. I don't know. I don't really like the Philly fans, but I like Jalen Hurts.
See, I like the Eagles. I mean, that's the thing. Like Philadelphia fans are a bunch of interesting creatures, but I actually really do like the Eagles. I've liked because of LaShawn McCoy and then Donovan McNabb before him, and like
they've had some dogs. They had
Michael Vick. They've had a bunch of good eras.
They didn't have Never mind. Deion Sanders was on the Cowboys, and he was also on the Falcons, I think, too.
Yeah, how many teams did he play for, Deion Sanders?
I know he was on the Cowboys and the Falcons for NFL. And
I thought one more team, but I could be wrong.
Come on, those were the teams he was like really good at, though.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Michael Vick was on the Falcons and the Eagles.
Yeah, right. I forgot he was good on the Falcons.
He was better on the Falcons.
He was better. That was when he was in his prime.
It's weird though. Even though he was better on the Falcons, when I think of Vick, I think of Eagles.
Yeah. Well,
why is that?
You know what's interesting is like there's so many players I feel like that have like wasted even the NBA specifically thinking about it too, like how there's so many players that waste their best seasons on really bad teams. Like just off the top, for example, like a guy like Charles Barkley when he was on the Sixers. Like everyone remembers him on the Suns, but the Sixers he was playing on there for like almost 10 years and they sucked ass.
Yeah, that is true. Like Kareem on the Bucks. Yeah, they didn't win a ring.
Like Oscar Robertson.
But like besides that,
Kareem on the Lakers actually, like before Magic got there. Like they were
like the 5 years before that.
Yeah, like they were. He was literally just carrying them day in day out, and he actually won MVP one of those.
Pretty much Kareem pre-Magic. If you think about it.
Yeah, pretty much.
But also like Christian McCaffrey on the Panthers kind of too.
Yeah,
but he's also still pretty young though.
Which player on the Panthers?
What's up?
Which player?
McCaffrey.
Yeah, when he was on the Panthers, yeah. Well, they really didn't have good. I thought they had Cam Newton though.
They did, but they weren't like a top team though. They should have been.
I think Christian McCaffrey came like right after they went to the Super Bowl and everything.
Yeah, they kind of fell off in like later 2010s.
They had that 1 year,
yeah,
and then they were.
2015 Cam was different.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to say he was a 1 year wonder, but
that was just like his peak year.
Yeah, I think he had like 1 or 2.
He's a Hall of Famer.
But he had what? You think he's a Hall of Famer? Well, he's not even in the league right now.
But his career is like worthy of being a Hall of Famer.
How many Pro Bowls does he have?
I don't know. I probably should know. But
this might be a future episode. We might get into this debate later.
No, but I mean, for NBA, the Hall of Fame is like pretty somewhat easy to get into. Is it harder in the NFL to get to the Hall of Fame?
I can't tell. I heard it was easier and harder. I know it sounds weird, but
I mean, he was an MVP. Like, I mean, overall, he had a pretty good career though. Like he had good seasons. Like from when he was drafted to like 2018, he was a good player.
Well, that's the thing. He just only had like such a short lifespan in the sense of a career, but
that's true. I mean, Gronk. How long was Gronk had kind of a short career too, right?
Well, Gronk he retired earlier, but those
he came back.
And then he came back, but those like condensed years were just such quality, like especially him with they like literally the Patriots were, and this is the difference. The Panthers were not a dynasty in my opinion. The Patriots were.
Yeah, I don't even think the Seahawks were a dynasty because they won.
They weren't. Yeah,
with Russell Wilson and Marshawn.
Exactly. Like same like in the NBA. Like I don't think if you win one championship you're a dynasty. You got to win like 2 or something.
Yeah, you got to win 2.
You gotta win at least 2 or something.
Yeah. Like Georgia Bulldogs have been a dynasty the last 2 years.
How many? Oh, they're back to back, right? They're trying to three-peat this year.
I don't see it happening.
They might. Well, Michigan stands in their way, so we'll see.
I don't even think Michigan's. That's the thing.
I think Michigan could be.
That's the thing about college football this year is like it's so open. Like there's not a clear-cut number 1.
There is. I mean, well, literally, if Georgia had a good like a really good quarterback, then they would be the clear-cut number 1. But yeah,
Carson Beck is like he's okay. He's not amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's players.
I think
he's also a freshman too.
He's not.
I thought he was a freshman.
He's like a junior. He's like our age.
Oh, he is. Oh, I think their backups are freshmen.
He's like a junior or senior. Yeah. It's like Oregon, Washington.
Yeah, they wouldn't get freshmen.
Texas, Penn State. And then Florida State is like not a mate. Like I don't know, Michigan, like they're good. Like don't get me wrong, they have a chance to win it all. But there's so many other teams that could be better than them.
Yeah.
So like it's not like
you think though, like a lot better than Michigan this year because they got all their guys back. You
think Michigan would be playing better than they are now?
Yes.
Yeah. I think part of it's because they're not playing anyone good though.
Yeah. Well, they like you were saying, they have
Yeah.
two good teams that they're like really good teams that they're playing this year, and that's pretty
Yeah.
much it. So at worst, they're going like 10-2 or something like that. Unless like
At
you
the
know,
worst, yeah.
or once in a while you have a
Or
really
they might
bad
lo-
game or something.
Unless they
yeah.
lose to Maryland or something,
Exactly.
which I don't think is
Possibly,
going to happen.
yeah.
I mean, you never know, but like I think
See, I feel like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could see Michigan either losing to like somebody like Penn State, like a great team, or like somebody like a really bad team, like in their schedule. I don't know
do
exactly.
you think there's a chance they could lose to both Ohio State and Penn State?
That's what I'm saying. Like they could go 10-2, maybe 9-3. You know, like
Yeah.
if they had a really bad game. But yeah, like again, those are going to be tough games. Like those two games. Are
Penn State and Ohio State are going to be very tough games. I think the Penn State one's going to be harder because it's at Penn State.
Oh yeah, true. Wait, is Ohio State at Michigan?
Yeah.
All right, that'll be a little bit.
which
I think Michigan might win that game.
They
Actually.
could win that one, but I think the fact that Ohio State beat Notre Dame kind of surprised me.
That was.
Yeah.
I wish I had watched that. Well, I only watched So I was telling Luke over here. I only watched the first half, and then I just turned off the TV in the second half, and I missed everything.
Yeah, lucky for me, I was at like White Funds Farm with my family, which is a restaurant in like Romeoville, Chicago area. And I was checking the score, and it was 0-0 the whole first half. And then I got home, and it was like a crazy game. Like Ohio State was winning 10-0, and then Notre Dame came back and was winning 14-10, and then at the very end, Ohio State took it home. So
Oh, so you saw literally like right towards the end.
I watched
When
like
you got back.
I watched like most of the third quarter and fourth quarter,
Oh,
and then I went
so
to
you
I went to
really
get
saw it.
crumble cookie a little bit. But
Damn, I have to get crumble.
no, Ohio State's receiving core is really good. Like the best receiving cores I've seen are like Ohio State and Washington so far.
Yeah.
They got like Marvin Harrison Jr. and Meke Ibuka. And Kyle McCord's he's a good quarterback. I think Hartman's a better quarterback, but I think just like Ohio State has so many weapons that it's just like you're bound to be a good quarterback and you got that receiving core.
I forgot they have Marvin Harrison Jr. He is a beast.
Yeah, their receiving core is freaking crazy. Florida State also has a good receiving core, but they played kind of weird the last couple of games.
Well, that's the thing. Like
Yeah.
they almost lost against Clemson like 2 days ago.
No, they almost lost to Boston College too.
They almost those were both in OT. Like again, like if Florida State's gonna have this like top tier rate, if they're gonna be a top 5 team in the country, this cannot happen.
They just have to be more consistent. Like they beat LSU by 20.
Like they did.
Yeah, so it's weird that they like had these weird games against Boston College. And the Clemson one makes more sense because it's Clemson,
Yeah,
even though they're not ranked. Like it's still Clemson. You
they're
can't-
probably one of the best non-ranked teams.
Oh, for sure.
in the country, yeah.
It's because they lost to Duke. That's why they're not ranked.
True. Yeah. Well, then you had Mizzou, who just beat Memphis. So hopefully,
Is Memphis like good or
fingers
something?
crossed
now?
they'll be ranked. They're not bad. They
Okay.
just literally like we played decent, but I think our defense was doing really good. So
Do you think Mizzou would beat Michigan State? I mean, they beat Kansas State.
yes,
so they
I think we
definitely
would.
What do you think how much do you think they beat them by? Like 10-20?
It depends how well we like. Mizzou's a very inconsistent team.
Yeah.
In some cases, like they will literally like that Middle Tennessee game that was way too close.
How much did they win by?
It was 23-19. It was
Oh, really? That's
really
interesting.
close, way too close. So yeah, and then
That is good. And then you beat Kansas State. That's kind of crazy.
yeah, other than Kansas State, that was the closest we had to someone snapping our undefeated streak. So
So you guys are
hopefully
4-0 then, or 3-0?
we're 4-0 now, so
Okay.
hopefully we'll be ranked this.
If I on Monday, like that's the thing. Like I don't know, like because like you've been watching college football. Like when did you start watching it? Did you watch it like at all in middle school or high school?
Yeah,
Or
I'd say middle school I started watching it. High school I watched it. Like there was never a point where I was there was maybe only I'd say a little bit of time, like maybe a couple months or something, where
Okay.
at one point where I was super into college football, but
Okay.
that was about it. Other than that, I've not been very interested, but I've definitely been keeping up a bit more nowadays. Same with like
Yeah.
baseball. I've never, less so in baseball. But yeah, I've gotten a lot more into baseball this
Oh
year.
really? I was into baseball when I was like a little kid, but then I just stopped liking it.
Well, then they had, so
For some
that's the
reason.
thing. Was it boring to you? Do you think?
No, I don't know what it was. I think I was just into it like when I was in like elementary school because like you play catch with your dad and you like play with
Oh,
your
yeah.
friends. But then like once I got to middle school, because I was never really good at baseball and also it was kind of boring. And also I got really into basketball and football, so that took away from my love for baseball. I
Yeah.
think that's part of it too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And now I like soccer. So now there's like 3 sports that I like a lot better than baseball there. And then now I like fighting sports. So it's like I don't want to be there's like only so many sports you can like, you know.
Yeah, and soccer,
Yeah.
especially like Champions League's going on right now. Like, there's a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah, I think there's a Tottenham is playing Arsenal today. I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to see Son play. Yeah, that's gonna be sick.
Yeah. Wait, did he? Oh yeah, for Tottenham.
Yeah. Well, I heard Harry Kane's not on the team anymore, or he's somewhere.
Oh yeah, he
else.
went to was it Munich? No.
Was it Bayern Munich? I think it might have been actually, because everybody's
Yeah, he
leaving
left.
now.
Bayern, I love Bayern Munich. They're my favorites.
Yeah, I didn't like how Mane kind of fell out with them, but
Did he leave?
yeah. Or well, did he leave? I actually don't know.
I didn't hear that. I know he was.
He's
there
not
for like a
playing
year.
though. He's not playing.
Sadio Mane.
Yep. Or I think he went to. Did he go to Saudi? I'd have to check, but I think he might actually.
Didn't Benzema and Neymar go there?
They did, yeah.
Saudi is where all the superstars are going now.
They're making all the money over there.
Speaking of
where
which,
the money-
another topic we could talk about perhaps on another podcast. We could talk about Saudi Arabia and how like they're like the new sports mecca,
they're like trying to take over the sport.
and how they're also like Saudi Arabia is a really interesting country because they're changing so much, and like there's like a incentive like to like have women drive there and like just have it more like
Well, that's the thing. You'd
Which
have
is
to
good,
like just
but,
have a whole episode on Saudi Arabia. in
Yeah.
general. You just have to have its own thing because like then you'd
That's
have to
true.
dive into ethics and then you have to dive into
because I saw a documentary about Saudi Arabia and it was very interesting because like what they were doing is good because they were giving women more rights, but also there was like a on social media they're trying to like manufacture division between like people who want to keep the culture the way it is and people who want to abolish it. There has to be something in between, like because like you got to keep your traditions as a society,
Yeah.
and that's what happens. And like that's how countries fall. 'cause, like,
Unless
they lose their
those traditions, oppress, then other than that.
Yeah, but like sometimes I know what you mean, but sometimes they can just take it too far,
Yeah.
and it can be like they lose like their way of life.
Oh, 100%. Well, that's the thing. You want to stay true to who you are, but at the same
Yeah.
time, and you're like your whole identity and stuff. Like you
Yeah.
talk about even like the natives, like in this country, but
Yeah,
it's like you want to stay true to yourself, but at the same time, you don't want to rule with an iron fist.
oh yeah. It's gotta be like a balance. It's gotta be like a balance,
Exactly.
and there's no balance nowadays with like.
You need to have structure, but not
Yeah. That-
aggressiveness.
No, it doesn't have to be like a dictatorship where like women can't work, but at the same time, it can't be like a place where like in America where like women have a bunch of OnlyFans or something. I don't know.
Dude, America's fucked.
Yeah, the Western world is like, have you guys seen that thing where it's like the girlfriends ask a boyfriend, they're like, hey, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? And like they're like, have you seen that? Have you heard about this?
I have not.
Oh, you haven't? It's so funny. It's like they ask like men how often they think about the Roman Empire, and this one guy on YouTube made a video about it. He was like saying like, I think men are thinking about the Roman Empire so much because America is gonna fall like with the Roman Empire. It's kind of true though in a way.
They're like getting to go off that type of history, possibly. Yeah.
America is kind of similar to the Roman Empire, like at least right now.
In some ways, but we kind of, again, like you talk about, like we definitely, our identity is a bunch of identities because
Yeah.
we're a huge melting pot. But
Problem is like people are just like so I don't want to say narrow minded, but there's just no like there's no traditions. That's the problem. Like there's no like there's not like one thing where like the whole country can get behind.
there's just not a lot of
Yeah.
you have these principles, these
Yeah.
values, these like these ways of these guides, these outlines on how you live life. But so I think sometimes along the way, especially when things happen and kind of life takes its course and does its magic, and how other people choose to live that life is how it kind of impacts people. And really, the environment changes everything. But
Yeah, for sure.
and over time, so, some people they kind of lose that sense of vulnerability and structure to their lives. And when people lose structure, they lose their minds.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, that's definitely like a whole other.
We don't have to go too
like
much
a
into
whole
that.
Other rabbit hole.
Yeah, just like flirting with the idea of like perhaps in the future, like because Saudi Arabia they've done a lot of stuff with like Ronaldo going there and also Jake Paul fighting there and like the
Jake
Liv
Paul
going-
fought in Saudi.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia they're pulling in the
They got
sports.
everybody now.
Yeah. They had like some tennis thing. Like Saudi Arabia is a very fascinating country right now because like they're having a lot of sports there. They're trying to become more of like a democracy kind of, but their leader is actually very cutthroat and he jails a lot of people. So
They're really trying to market themselves.
yeah, they're trying to.
Open world.
They're kind of becoming more Americanized in a way.
They did that a lot, actually. You know, it's
Yeah.
interesting. The Ottoman Empire did that. Like they kind of tried to do that a lot more in the Middle Ages, where they're being a lot more open with the world and trying to embrace other cultures and like
Yeah,
have that trade off of ethics and values and like the way you go about things and
Kind
how
of become
you,
like a hub of like culture and
a
stuff.
hub and
Yeah.
mixing a melting of cultures and stuff. Just like like when how America is a melting pot pretty much. But
Yeah.
yeah.
But like so anyway, we're talking about like football. Who do you think are? Do you think we should do a top 5 or top 10 teams going forward, or like just like who do you think are the best teams going forward? Because I personally think
NFL, NCAA.
let's do both.
Top 10, top 5 or top.
Let's do top 5 because I'm not super well versed in the NFL.
Yeah.
You can do top 10 in the NFL if you want to, but I can't do that.
I might just do top 5, make it easier. Also, I don't know how much time we have. I don't know if you can see that, but so I'd say top 5. The best the team that's going to be the best by the end of the season.
Yeah, like I mean, just like who do you think is going to be like the best team like week in week out? I guess, or like as of right now, or either one. I guess like there's kind of.
I feel like I can't go in a particular order, but
Eagles, no, you don't have to give an order.
Yeah, Eagles are going to be one of them. Chiefs, I think, are going to be slightly out of the top 5. I think the Bills are going to be slightly out of the top 10. Because there's also a lot of good teams, and there, especially in the NFL, I feel like there's like a lot of teams could be great, but there's like something holding them back. Like
that's the case in all sports.
Yeah, well, I'm saying a lot, like almost every. You could say you could pick a lot of the teams for an example, like
Like even the Niners.
The Niners, not as much. They're playing great this year. So they needed a quarterback, but they found
Niners.
So they just fixed their problem.
Niners, Eagles, and Bills, I think, are going to be top 5.
Yeah, they're just Bills are too inconsistent.
Are the Dolphins up there?
They're slightly out of the top 5,
Okay.
possibly slightly out of the top 10, depending on how Tua does.
What about Lions? No.
Lions could be in the top 15. Depending on how.
Oh, top 15. I thought they were like really good.
They're good, but like they're not like they're a playoff team. They're not. They could win 10 games. That is.
Does the NFL? Do you think it's competitive this year or not really?
Oh, it's very competitive. Well, in terms of.
Like from top to bottom, you think it's more competitive than it used
like
to be?
talent wise or
Just like team wise, like just team wise.
Like I think the talent is very very high, but just depending on how people play, like some games it seems like teams aren't even trying, but it's a lot more. Teams try a lot more in the NFL than they do in the NBA in the regular season for sure.
The NBA, oh yeah. I thought you were gonna say college football. I was like, I don't know.
No, college football. I think they try harder even in some cases in college football, but they in college football people don't really know how to play, so they're kind of just running around like wild animals.
It depends on what team. They definitely know how to play. Like they're high level.
You got I think you got the top teams that obviously can throw the ball.
If it's like D2 or like low level D1, then maybe it kind of looks weird. But like at the end of the day, like they were definitely the top dogs in high school. They're definitely good.
Yeah.
But yeah, NFL. It's like watching college basketball versus the NBA. Like it's like a whole different thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for college basketball to come back. That we're definitely gonna have to talk about that in the future when that comes out. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, for when that comes out.
Michigan State too. Michigan State, they're always good in basketball. I'm upset about their football season because Washington destroyed them and they lost to Maryland, and they have a tougher season than Michigan, which should not be the case because Michigan is ranked number 2 and Michigan State is like I don't even know, like number 75 or something. Maybe not that bad, but they're not good.
Question: do you think Michigan State could win 5 games
this year? Yeah, I think 5 or 6. They could.
Possibly.
If they won 7, I'd be very surprised. Though.
Yeah, 7. I'd be shocked.
I'll have to look at their schedule.
Because they could actually go to a bowl game possibly in that case. Like,
yeah, if you win 6 games, you go to a bowl game.
They won 6. Okay.
They won 5 games last year, so they just missed the bowl game. There's 4. They play. They're definitely going to lose to Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State.
Yeah, Michigan State has more hard games than Michigan does.
That's the thing. That's ridiculous. That shouldn't be the case. You're the number 2 team in the country. You should be playing tough competition. But,
literally. Well, that's why I'm mad at like I'm waiting for Florida State to play a super hard team. Like,
well, they played LSU. That's not super hard. That's still good.
Okay, what is LSU ranked?
They're like top 15, I think.
Top 15?
Yeah, they're pretty good.
I wonder what rank they're going to be when they play Mizzou, because they could be. They're playing Mizzou at home, so they could be maybe top 10, top 15.
They were kind of overrated going into the season. People thought they were going to be like a playoff team. I'm like, no.
Well, like you mean like going to one of the top bowl games or
No, people thought they were going to be like a top 5 team. I'm like,
oh, like Natty Championship? No,
no. I thought they'd be like in the top 10 though.
They haven't had that since they had Joe Burrow.
Yeah, LSU's always kind of like in the mix though.
Yeah.
But yeah, that Joe Burrow year was definitely something special. So I think for the NFL, I think the top teams.
Well, I thought you stayed more than 1 year, right? Joe Burrow.
LSU.
Yeah. We had because
Well, the 2019 year, I don't know any other years he was there. He was a transfer from Ohio State.
Oh yeah, if you transfer,
Yeah.
yeah. I forgot he transferred from Ohio State. Yeah. So that's the only, yeah, exactly. Because I think you need 3 years of collegiate football experience before you can go to the NFL draft, which is crazy.
Yeah,
Which
that makes
I think
sense,
you were
though.
mentioning to me, like, yeah, Caleb Williams can't even go to the draft because of that, or he couldn't go earlier.
He couldn't go last year because he was the same with Bryce Young when he won Heisman. Like,
I think he probably shouldn't. It's good that Caleb Williams is waiting until this year. I think because
he has to. He has no choice.
Well,
Yeah.
it just in
Yeah.
general
Yeah,
because
sure.
like the last year's QB class was really top heavy. So
Yeah, he'll definitely be the number 1 pick this year.
if USC can help him on defense, but we'll see.
Yeah, even if they don't, I still think he'll be like a top 5 pick though. He's just that good.
Was it just? I mean, that's gonna be crazy though. If Caleb Williams is putting up a bunch of points, but his team on defense just lacking. Like,
Yeah.
that's gonna be rough.
Because like at the end of the day, like I mean that probably would hurt him, but based off his potential, like he's like a Mahomes kind of player. Like the scouts are drooling over him.
But he's not very tall, right? He's only like 6 foot.
6'1". He's built though. He can run. I mean, at the end-
Yeah, he's a dual threat.
if you're over 6 feet, I mean, like Bryce Young got drafted number 1. He's a 5'10".
I can't. I mean, he's good, but like I wouldn't have picked him number 1. That's just
You would have picked Stroud.
Yep. I probably would have picked him number 2 though.
That's fair. It was between those 2 guys.
Yeah, exactly.
I like Stroud. He's really fun to watch. I think the thing about Stroud that just like turned me off is like the fact he lost to Michigan both years.
Oh yeah, you got.
And Michigan was a good
got
team.
Michigan one of those years.
Yeah, like that's the thing about it. But like he's a very good quarterback. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. That's good.
And Anthony Richardson is just a freak of nature.
I wonder how he's gonna do when he gets back. I
It's
really.
a shame he's injured because I was looking forward to hearing about him.
Well, he's not injured for the rest of the season, right?
No, he's not. But it's like in general, I wanted to see like how he was going to do out of the gates.
That's what I wanted from Aaron Rodgers. Before it snaps in, I lose my QB bench player on my fantasy. So that's how it is.
Yeah, so I think the best teams in the NFL are going to be I still think the Chiefs are going to be one of the best teams.
Yeah.
Chiefs, Eagles, Niners, Bills. Who else? Chiefs, Eagles, Niners, Bills. Who else is a good team? Not the Dolphins. I don't think the Dolphins.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, they just don't have enough firepower. You
What about
say
Bengals? No, I said
Yeah.
I would have thought. I mean, the Bengals, if Burrow gets his act together, they will be though.
Yeah, possibly.
sure,
Well,
yeah.
that's the thing. They could make like a late playoff run or something, possibly. You know, when Burrow feels healthier or whatever. But we'll see. So possibly Bengals, Ravens.
Oh, I forgot about the Ravens.
Yeah, they're a dark horse.
The
contender.
Ravens they're always like good, but they're never like in the top echelon.
Yeah, they're always. I feel like ever since Lamar Jackson got there, though, I feel like they've always been like
They've been, like,
like
on
the
the
top 10 or something.
They've been knocking on the door.
They've
They're
been
like
so
a knocking on
close,
the door
yeah.
kind of team.
Well, Cowboys would be really good if it wasn't for Dak.
Cowboys are always a knocking on the door kind of team. Too.
They're really close. Yeah. Again, they need a guy. Like every team's like there's always
Micah
like
Parsons.
a gaping hole. Well, I'm saying like there's always like a gaping hole in like every NFL team. I feel like or most NFL teams. Like
Yeah, more so than college because a lot of the college teams that are at the top, like at least the top like 3 to 5, they're like low key like they're kind of complete teams.
yeah, they're more complete. And I
Yeah.
feel like with the NFL, like if you have a weakness, like they're gonna make you punish for it.
Yeah, you can't just have a good quarterback. You have to be good all around. And that, with the higher level it goes, like in high school, if your team is like dog shit, but you have a really good quarterback, you can kind of get away with some stuff.
True. Well,
Yeah.
that's high school.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the higher level it gets, like the less the quarterback kind of matters. If that makes sense.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, like just in general, yeah. The higher level you get, just the higher level of talent you need, and the more talent you need, and that's why you see all these sports like professional sports where the teams are so good because like everybody's like everybody wants that top talent, so then it creates just like this huge competitiveness where like even at some points you see like teams score like no points. Like especially like Notre Dame against Ohio State, like they probably both just weren't scoring because they're
Makes
both
sense.
two really good teams.
Yeah, the defensive struggle.
Yeah, and it's like it's hard to tell who's gonna win that, but oh wow.
Yeah, my prediction was incorrect. So I guess like for college teams, Penn State phenomenal.
Wait, did
Crazy.
you pick Notre Dame in the last podcast episode, or when did you?
Yeah, no, I told you that was my first incorrect prediction.
Oh,
Like I said earlier, like Florida State and LSU, I knew Florida State was going to win. I
yeah.
just knew. And then same with Texas and Alabama. I knew Texas was going to beat Alabama.
Mhm.
I did not expect Alabama to be this bad, though. I'm going to be honest.
Same.
Yeah.
Well, I thought Alabama would have like just slightly beaten Texas, but I was wrong.
Oh no, I knew that Texas. Like I had a feeling they're going to be like a top 10 team. Texas has
Texas is on the
yeah.
rise. Alabama's on the downfall. I don't know
For
if they
sure.
intentionally did that. The people that chose the schedules, but like,
No, it makes sense. I mean, Texas, they got Quinn Ewers. They got a great coach. They got a lot of recruits going there. I like Texas Longhorns. Like it's cool. Like I like the Texas Longhorn culture. They're a lot more cool than Alabama to me because like it's in Austin. It's just a nice vibe.
it's all the way
Yeah.
down in Texas.
Yeah, like the Texas Longhorns, like they're kind of sick. Like when Texas Longhorns are like a good team, it's good for marketability.
Yeah,
You know?
you want a team that's marketable.
Yeah.
Well, especially, I wonder how the basketball team handled, their coach being a wife beater. But
Oh, yeah.
that's for,
That was kind of like under the radar story, wasn't it? Or was it a big story?
no idea. I just saw it and I was
I just
like,
saw it on Instagram.
I know a couple people, like, people knew about it, but I don't think a lot of people talked about it. But
Yeah, for sure.
so they kind of like, they didn't like sweep it under the rug, I feel like, but they kind of didn't like put it all out. They didn't like face it head on. It was like, yeah, this happened. Like I didn't see like
Yeah.
much of a statement or like something. It was just
That's true because their basketball program
like they
is
just
pretty good.
fired him, hired another guy, and like, oh, he'll do better.
Yeah. So, but speaking of which, I think the best teams now, not really in order, but the top five, because in my opinion, from what I've watched I think college football, like there's not a clear cut number one. It's so open right now.
Yeah,
Like it's hard to tell who's number one.
yeah.
My
I think you mentioned that
Yeah.
earlier. Like you're not gonna find like I think honestly like Penn State just has much of a chance to be good just as much as a team like Michigan.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
true. Like Penn State, they beat Iowa 31-0, phenomenal. My cousin's friend was actually at the whiteout, and he took a picture with Sexy Red. You know the rapper Sexy Red?
Oh, I think I might have heard of it.
Yeah, she's not good. She promotes women to
Oh,
be
her, yeah.
promiscuous, which I don't.
Oh
like.
wait, I've heard.
But
of
she's
it.
like a female rapper, like talking about all this, promiscuous.
That's a
degenerate
lot of
stuff.
female rappers.
Yeah, she's really bad though. She's like worse than even like the bad ones.
Oh yeah, you're talking about like Nicki Lizzo.
Like she's worse than she makes like Cardi B look like a nursery rhyme. Like she's bad, bro.
Nice Cardi B look like Poppins or something.
Yeah, something like Mickey Mouse or something. But no, Penn State, like their quarterback Drew Aller, who's a sophomore, and they have a defensive or offensive lineman who should be a top 5 pick. I forgot his name. My cousin's a huge fan.
Everything just kind of is coming together.
Yeah,
for
Penn State looks really good. Oregon, phenomenal with Bo Nix beating Colorado,
Oh yeah, that was,
as well as Washington with Michael Penix, and their offense and defense is really good. They destroyed Michigan State. I want to see Washington play a good team, but Washington, they actually look really good. So I
yeah,
think those 3 teams are really good. I think Texas they could throw in there.
yeah.
And then between Michigan and Georgia, I don't know. I think Michigan might be a little better, but like they both haven't played anyone that good, and they both look kind of.
They're both just good in different areas, so it's kind of hard
Yeah.
to compare them. I feel like.
And if I'm gonna be honest, like I thought Georgia and Michigan were gonna be in a league of their own, but there's like 5 teams that look better than them,
Yeah.
at least maybe even 6 teams.
Well, it's just again,
Yeah.
like you were saying, there's no top. Everything's all the top teams. It's very top heavy right now.
Yeah.
Like for all the conferences, so it's kind of
Yeah.
hard to tell who's going to be holding the mantle at the end of the year.
That's true because like in the Pac-12, Oregon and Washington. I think Oregon and Washington are probably the top of the conference because I don't think USC is going to be up there with their defense.
Yeah.
And then the Big 12 is Texas's conference, so they're just the best team there.
Yeah.
Oklahoma's
Well,
kind of
until
good
they go
too.
to the SEC, right? Yeah.
Yeah, like for now. And then
Yeah.
Georgia is definitely the best in the SEC. Tennessee's kind of good. They did lose to Florida. Florida's kind of good.
Did
as well.
they? Was
Yeah.
it? I saw it was a close game, right?
It was at Florida. Florida ain't bad though.
Dude, I mean, they kind of moved on like somewhat after Anthony Richardson. Like they're not great, but
They're
not
better
bad.
than they were. They're better than they were with Anthony Richardson. For
Were
sure.
they? But they were ranked when they were with Anthony Richardson.
They were.
I thought they were.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't
I could
know.
be wrong. Yeah.
They were kind of like in and out of rankings. I think.
Yeah. Well, that's always tricky with like picking a quarterback or like a player that like a really good player on like a bad team. Like it's hard to again like it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of competition, so how do you know how good they truly are going to be when you have to step up on the professional level? Like guys like Luca, people could tell they're so good because this dude was playing the Euros by the time he was 14.
Even like LaMelo, because LaMelo had some professional experience too.
Yeah, in Lithuania.
In Lithuania and also Australia too.
Australia probably. I think honestly, Australia is probably what made him a really good player. At least
that helped a lot. Yeah, for sure.
It probably like skyrocketed his development.
Yeah, like because like was he even allowed to play in college? I don't think he was.
I thought his dad was just like, nah, you're going to Lithuania.
Oh no, that was in high school. I'm saying once he graduated high school.
Or I thought he didn't even go to, or yeah, he just didn't go to college because he was just like, because.
But I don't think he was allowed
because then he went to his dad's league, right? And then he went after
he went to his senior year. He played in high school though.
Yeah, well, he was playing with Chino Hills. Then he went, out Lithuania. Then like he played in his dad's league. Then they moved him to Australia. Then he went all over.
He played in Ohio in high school though.
He might have been in China actually too.
No, his senior
year. I'm thinking of Leangelo.
His senior year of high school, he played in Spire, like in Ohio.
Yeah, one of the great schools. Yeah, the breeding ground for athletics.
But I don't think he was allowed to play in college because he went to Lithuania. Is what I'm saying.
Possibly, I have no idea.
Like, even if he like wanted to play for like Kansas or whatever, he couldn't do that. I don't think.
Yeah. Well, that would have been interesting. I don't know.
LaMelo in college would have been freaking insane. Like the amount that would have been like Zion on steroids. Like the amount of like hype he would have gotten.
Yes. Yeah. I just have no idea if he would have wanted to play in college.
Oh no, I'm just saying hypothetically.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just like the thing is it's always like. Yeah, they would be good. Like if like what if like they always say for example like there was supposed to be that famous trade where the Houston Rockets were going to trade Ralph Sampson to I think it might have been Chicago or somebody else for Clyde Drexler and Michael Jordan and then people are like what if Clyde and Michael Jordan played together but it's like but the trade didn't happen so
I know what you mean.
Yeah, but that would have been like, and even so, it's like it would have been different though, because like LaMelo, like if he played in Kansas, he would have had to share a lot of touches with the ball. Like he couldn't like jack it up like he was at Chino.
But, yeah, it's different. Like colleges, because I know that Michigan State was one of the colleges he was looking at.
Yeah, you think? Wait, he was?
Yeah, like, there was a thing where I don't know if it was an interview or something, because there was a time where he was like looking to play in college, and they're like, "What schools are you looking to play it for?" And he's like. Michigan State, Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky, Louisville,
probably
Michigan.
All the big schools.
Yeah, because Michigan State, like that's been
been a really good school for him.
What school?
Michigan State.
That would have been nuts. I would have been so hyped if he went there.
I would. Well, it reminds me though, like
although Tom Izzo would have been able to contain his antics.
Well, that's the thing. Like, oh my gosh, things happen though, and like I remember, like as a Mizzou fan, when Michael Porter came over, and we thought we were going to be such a good team, and then he gets injured in the first 12 minutes, and it's. You just can't come back from that.
That's the nice thing about Michigan State basketball is that Tom Izzo has built a culture around the team, and they're always just good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
they're always like a reliable team. Mm-hmm. The last 20 years because he's been the coach. He's one of the best college coaches of all time.
Wait, was he like? Did he coach before the turn of the century?
For Michigan State or just in general?
He was possibly in general, I guess.
I don't know, but I know he coached they won the national title in 2000, and he was the head coach back then. I think he started coaching
for Michigan State.
Yeah, I think he started coaching in like the 90s. So he's been around a minute on that team.
Dude, he's like John Calipari.
And they made the Sweet 16 like so many times too.
Yeah. Well, that's there's so many like especially guys like John Calipari who like go up from like they either go down like they coach high school and then. Like they go to college or something, they go to the NBA. Like Jim Harbaugh goes to the NFL, then goes to Michigan. So like
Jim Harbaugh,
not like a demotion.
Jim Harbaugh was suspended. He came back to coach when they played. Did you see the game when they played Rutgers yesterday?
I did not.
Bro, it was tied. I wanted Rutgers to win so bad. It was
Michigan almost lost yesterday.
I mean, I'll tell you what happened. So like the game was tied. Rutgers scored the first touchdown.
Oh,
and it was tied 7-7 going into the second quarter, and then going into halftime. It was like 14-7, and then Michigan State ended up winning like 31-7.
Oh, right. Wait. You said Michigan State, right?
Oh, no, Michigan for first Rutgers.
Oh. Yeah, it was just like a slow starter.
Well, like Rutgers had it tied, though. I'm like, come on, Rutgers, take it home.
Dude, I always, well, literally, like I was telling you earlier, like I wish like South Carolina had beaten Georgia. Like I like when all these like small teams like actually make it super close. Like literally, like when Clemson and Boston College like almost beat Florida State in OT. I was like, come on, man,
Yeah.
just you're almost there.
There's more duality in college football. Like the teams are more equal now.
It's more equal,
Yeah.
like well, like especially like in the NFL, like a really good team is not just gonna let a bad team walk all over them. Like they're gonna have their
They're gonna
shit
blow them
together.
out.
They're gonna have their shit together. Yeah,
Yeah, and college is not the same. That I feel like.
it's not. Yeah, well, that's the thing. In college football, it's like they're not as composed. So like the
Yeah.
top teams, like it's worrisome. Like when like Penn State seems actually like one of the more composed teams in college football right now.
For sure.
So like when they play teams like Iowa, like we're not losing this game. Like let's clean them up. Let's take care of business. Let's move on.
Yeah, Penn State, Oregon, and Washington are probably the three most composed teams, and Texas a little bit.
Fact, Texas is very composed. Yeah.
But like in the Big Ten, like I don't know it's hard to say. Like between Ohio State and Michigan, I wonder who's gonna be better. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Ohio State didn't beat Notre Dame, so
Big Ten's just so good. It's ridiculous.
those top, yeah, because like I thought that Michigan was gonna be like by far the best team, but then now I think it's Penn State.
Well, that's the thing
Yeah.
though, is like they're not even playing a great like they're not getting a lot of tests because they're not playing a lot of great teams.
Yeah.
Michigan, so like even though their conference is amazing, so it's kind of weird.
Jim Harbaugh wants to be a cakewalk, I guess.
Possibly. Yeah, Jim Harbaugh setting up the schedule. He's like, all right, we're gonna we can't play any great teams because we might actually lose.
So that's probably the same thing Kirby Smart said too.
Dude,
Or maybe not.
I wouldn't be surprised. Well, they don't play a lot of great teams, Georgia, and
Yeah.
they're in the S. I mean, the SEC isn't the greatest football conference, but it's real like.
Oh, SEC, I mean, not this year, but year in, year out, they're always like the best.
Well, especially when Texas joins next year, they're gonna be even better.
Pac-12 is just having a freakishly good year for some reason.
True. I think a lot. Like I mean, the SEC more like a bunch of teams moved over, but like in
Yeah.
Pac-12, like something always happened. Like again, like Deion Sanders comes, or like they get like a really good player, or like
Yeah,
something else. Yeah.
Yeah, like they've had some moves. Like Caleb Williams went over there, Bo Nix went over there,
Facts. Yeah. Caleb
Penix,
Williams going on.
Deion Sanders went over there. So a lot of
Yep.
people went over there
Exactly.
the last couple of years. So
They've
Yeah.
slowly built pieces to make the Pac-12 as good as
Utah's been very good the last couple
They're
of years.
great, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, well, literally, they pretty much had the Pac-12 championship last week with UCLA and Utah, pretty much.
Maybe.
They're
UCLA
both.
ain't bad. They got a good quarterback. They got a good freshman quarterback.
Yeah, they do. They got some good. They got a couple really good players. They're not like amazing, but like it's getting better. And I think if everybody stays in the Pac-12, the Pac-12 will be good.
There's 4 teams. Like I think it's USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington are leaving.
Yeah, literally everybody's leaving. Yeah, Washington, yeah, Oregon, all those good teams. Everybody's leaving pretty much to go.
That's crazy.
It's either the Big Ten or the SEC. I think we talked about how like the SEC and the Big Ten are pretty much just like getting all of the great teams and kind of capitalizing on that. But
Yeah.
college football is definitely going to be a lot more different the next 2
I wonder which one's going to be better. I think maybe the Big Ten might be better.
Possibly.
Damn, look at that.
Yeah, that's a good throw. We're watching the Chiefs and Jets game up there. Yeah, sorry, what were you saying?
No, I'm saying like I think the Big Ten might have more talent, at least as of right now, because like
Then the SEC?
if you add the teams that are moving into them.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing though. I feel like it's in terms of the SEC and the Big Ten. It's pretty balanced between like I think both. They're both having a lot of good teams come in like at the same time.
Yeah, that's true.
So like you see like Oregon, Washington coming into the Big Ten at the same time. That
You got Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan. That's stacked.
yeah, exactly.
And also USC and UCLA too, and Wisconsin. It's just like a lot of good teams.
I think I will say I think the Big Ten probably will be the best conference on paper, but I think the SEC has the potential to be.
Oh, for sure. Especially if they get Texas and Florida State and stuff.
They're gonna get some. Wait, when is next year?
Oh, is Florida State going to the? I feel like they're going to the SEC. I thought they were.
I honestly I could see Florida State go into the Big Ten. I could see them being a Big Ten
really?
team. Yeah, I could see them being like one of those teams. Like, and then they're just gonna have another good team in the Big Ten.
That's crazy. If Florida State goes to the Big Ten, that's like too much.
Well, that's the thing. It'd pretty much just be all top 5 teams in one conference and be kind of.
Do you think Texas is better than Florida State? That'd be a good matchup.
It would be a good game if Florida State plays like not like crap, but not very good, and Texas plays amazing. Then Texas could win. But It'd have to be a Cinderella run or like some miracle that Texas would. But do I think the game could be within 10? Sure.
Do you think Oregon and Washington? Who do you think Oregon would win?
Oregon versus Washington. I think Oregon would win. It'd be close though.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of close, but
Penn State, yeah, they're really good.
they're so good. They're gonna be good for the next couple years at least. We'll see what I'm interested to see what Alabama's future is looking like. Especially with Nick Saban getting older, like the players like not getting as good. Like, can they bounce back from it immediately? Like
I think it's Bama. They can. I think it's just a quarterback issue.
Well, I guess we'll have to see if they get a good quarterback next year, or like their quarterback just all of a sudden like plays amazing and starts developing. Then we'll really see, how good this team can get. But
yeah, for sure. I think it's because they have 3 quarterbacks who are like they're okay, but like they're not good, and they just like don't know who to pick.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, they just have like 3 mediocre quarterbacks. Like they don't know who to start.
Well, that's the thing, and it's like teams have tried to play like the 2 quarterback system. They've tried to play like these different like quarterback rotations and stuff, and it's like you need a good solid quarterback.
It doesn't work.
For the most part. Yeah, there's been very few times where especially the 2 quarterback system.
Sometimes it works like when here and there you can throw in like a backup to like run the ball or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the Saints have been doing with Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
Like they pretty much whenever like Derek Carr would come out, Taysom Hill would come in, and they just basically run past.
Doesn't Taysom Hill do like running back, quarterback, and receiver or something crazy?
I don't know, but he's really good. He's very athletic. He's a very athletic QB. I think he might have been a receiver. I don't know. I forgot which college he went to. NC State. So I don't remember, but
he kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, he kind of did. Yeah, exactly. But he's still. He's still the backup. He's still got time to develop. But
yeah, he's pretty young too.
He's pretty young. We'll see where he goes, but he's gonna have to be given a chance on another team or something. So we'll see where that.
Yeah, because like Michigan did that too. When they had McNamara, they'd bring in McCarthy to like run the ball here and there.
Yeah, exactly. So it all depends.
He was a freshman, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So these teams are probably going to be doing different things to help retool their team wherever they see fit. So
Alabama's the only team where that's the problem though, because Ohio
State just don't have the weapons.
Like I think all the top teams they kind of have like their guy at quarterback.
Exactly, yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like there are a couple teams in college football, a lot in the NFL, but some in college football that need their quarterback that just don't have it yet. Who don't have their quarterback.
Yeah.
Who don't have their guy, but
who in the NFL is like would be like that? You think?
Well, the Bears are still trying to figure it out. I think that Justin Fields could possibly be good, but
Baker Mayfield's been playing pretty good.
He's been doing good, so I think this next game is really gonna test how good he ends up being. But we'll see.
Do you think Jordan Love is the fit for the Packers?
I don't know. Well, he's still got a year or 2 maybe to develop, but we'll see where that ends up. But yeah, I think we'll possibly have to cut this short.
Yeah, for sure. It was good talking.
Yeah, good talking to you guys. Thanks for hopping on this, Luke. It was good to have this. And yeah, look out for, all the new recaps and stuff we'll be doing in the future. We'll keep you guys updated and posted on when we do this stuff. You got anything you want to say before we close this out?
For sure. I have a question. Are you down to drop them every Sunday or available or Saturday?
Possibly. I'll talk to you about it in the future. We'll see. We'll figure it out, and we'll coordinate behind the scenes for you guys.
Because life just got in the way, but we're back at it. We're enjoying the process.
We're enjoying the podcast grind, doing our thing. But yeah.
But yeah, for the viewers, let us know what you want us to talk about. It was good fun talking about football. We'll try to be a little bit more organized the next time. We still talked about a lot of good stuff, but we just had some tangents.
Yep.
That's all. But have a blessed Sunday and keep your head up. Have a good life, and we're out. Peace out.
All right. Take care, guys. See ya.